gente ganando la LF, la nacional mexicana, será también el sprint en el que ganen la LLA.
Señoras y señores, aquí hay sueños, aquí hay metas, aquí hay campeón de LLA 2022. ¡Para los cristales con el azul tenemos!
Welcome back to MSI Condensed. Today we're covering Pool 3 seeds, Team AZE from Liga Latin America, and fastPay Istanbul Wildcats from the Turkish Championship League. Let's begin with Team AZE. Full transparency, I was frankly pretty surprised that Team AZE was in Pool 3 over Red or DFM, and my reviews didn't exactly change my mind. That was partly because I started watching their early season games. According to Ruuxi, coach for dominant regular season team Rainbow 7, AZE always performed well in group stage, but they weren't able to convert these leads to stage until the last week of playoffs when they went from 4th to 2nd. He said that in scrims, they would understand basic fundamentals of things like dragon setups or playing together in mid-game. On stage, a lot of their games featured them falling behind rather rapidly, but even then you could see some strong moments of play. Dimitry or support straight would look for a desperate pick from behind that didn't always work out, but showed there is a lot of life and morale in the team. Dimitry, the team's young jungler, talked about how the team managed to keep high levels of morale throughout the season. He talked about how 5Kid, the AD carry, would often make jokes or imitate Zillion's laugh when things went wrong. When the team went 0-2, he made everyone laugh the entire trip back home. That kind of teamwork and morale for a losing team is pretty invaluable from the perspective of someone who's been on a team, and explains how they were able to make plays from behind or stay in the tournament generally instead of just kind of losing morale and losing the will to make something happen. Dimitry and Ruuxi both highlighted AZE's turning point as their last game against Esports, the other eventual finalist team in regular season. Dimitry said they managed to come back with a bad draft, which really improved morale and let AZE have confidence to execute their plays from scrims. So what can we think AZE will look like at MSI then? AZE, like a lot of other teams, place a lot of emphasis on bot side, and some of that comes from 5Kid, who Ruuxi highlights as one of the best ADCs in LATAM, but they also have higher dragon priority than most teams globally. Dimitry said that he thinks that most good teams, Snowball leads well on Rift Herald, but he thinks dragons are now at a point actually where they're underrated. The pressure from having two drakes on the other team is high and allows for more strategic decisions in mid-game. I don't necessarily think AZE take a lot of advantage of that to make creative mid-game plays, but I think they actually function pretty well as a unit, reacting to things that happen on one side of the map by making plays on the other. A big part of this is keeping constant vision from priority lanes and keeping waves pushed up to make trade plays when they can. Which is why, while most will highlight Dimitry and 5Kid, I actually rate Straight pretty highly as a core part of AZE. What makes AZE a bit different from other teams that we've covered is that they seem to excel best at pick comps and less so in teamfights, but that could prove useful at MSI with buffs to champs like Jhin and Kai'Sa and nerfs to Jinx in early lane. My biggest takeaway from chatting with jungler Dimitry though was hearing about his goals for performance. We Latin Americans play on NA solo queue server because we want to improve, and for that we get a lot of harassment from some people telling us we shouldn't even be allowed to play on the same server as them because any player from Latin America is bound to be bad at the game. I want to change that opinion people seem to have about us. Well, best of luck to Dimitry, and best of luck to AZE in general as a team at MSI.
Siz kadim ejderhayı alın. Ben kış mevsimi şampiyon olacağım diyor. Onun üzerine bir sıçra. Hayır, serin.
Serin.
Ve 2022 kış mevsimi şampiyon olmayı başaran ekip fastPay Wildcats.
Now let's talk about the Wildcats. TCL had a pretty strong reputation in the past, but as time has gone by, I think some of the strength of TCL team infrastructure has waned. Allegedly, the big budget spendings that happened around 2018 have dried up. That's important to temper expectations, but I don't want to take the spotlight of the team itself. The first thing you'll notice about Wildcats, though, is that they play around bot lane a lot. Like a lot. Fenerbahçe Analyst Click basically said they prepped on the assumption that Pharah would just pack down, lean bot for an early recall, and rinse and repeat. But what stands out to me after watching a lot of their games is that they are pretty thoughtful about early play opportunities in general. In every single playoff game, Wildcats picked Nautilus early on in draft phase and followed it up with consistent prio lane picks. But when they secured LeBlanc, probably their best pick for mid laner Saren, They would execute on a 3-camp mid-gank into 4-manning bots to deny stacked waves that their bot lane had set up. Executing this kind of play consistently usually requires a thoughtful approach from drilling it in scrims. Head coach TheQep told me that they prepared a lot of strategies in scrims, but things that would require them to move away from Nautilus, for example, the enemy team banning Nautilus didn't occur, so they still have some unexplored plays for MSI. The question then becomes whether or not the focus on bot lane pays off for this Turkish team. If you've been following League of Legends for a long time, you might remember Holy Phoenix from Worlds 2014. Holy Phoenix has consistently been a face at multiple international events, and TheQep credits his experience and strong play for many of the Wildcats' successes. Click has said that he thinks the real strengths of Wildcats lie in their team fighting, and it's hard to disagree since their mid-game macro isn't particularly advanced. Global abilities are extremely punishing in the context of the TCL, and sometimes I feel like neither fastPay Wildcats nor their opponents take global ultimate or teleport cooldowns into account when they make plays. Holy Phoenix at least only seems to ever press his advantage on his siege when he knows his team can get a trade for it. To me, that's what makes him stand out more than anything else. One player I think who is a bit undersung in the team is Starscream. He gets his own advantages when top lane is ignored for bot-centric plays and has an incredibly neat stylist that he can pull out pretty easily. TheQep wants international fans to expect more from the fastPay Wildcats this year. Last year, the head coach said, 4 of our players participated in an international tournament for the first time and they were novices. So I think they couldn't play in a cold-blooded way. We are much better this season and we want to do more than just pass the group. Hey guys, if you liked the videos so far, please feel free to like and subscribe. We have 6 more teams to cover, but this is the general power ranking that I would use so far of the teams that I've VOD reviewed and made videos for. Hopefully nothing here is too surprising. I might do a slight preview stream before MSI proper starts on the 10th. I guess it'll be more like the 9th where I am. But just look out for that and we can talk in more detail about why the rankings are like this. If you want to learn more about the Red Knits, Order, or Detonation Focus Me, which are 1, 3, and 5 on this list, please feel free to check out that other video. Thank you, and I'll see you for the next one, which will be covering BCS and PCS.